Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Approve the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Item number 8, request from the Hernando Chamber of Commerce to temporarily close the streets for the 18th Annual Water Tower Festival on September 25th. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted.
Is there a bin over there?
Request from the Chamber of Commerce to temporarily close the streets for Christmas parade on December 6, 2021. Do we have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Item number 10, authorize to give Public Works Director Lee Jeremy a 90-day performance raise of $3,000. This is due to his performance of executing the GPS mapping system.
Let me, I'm not against giving him a raise, but I do think that, we're gonna be looking at everybody's salaries too. You try to be fair and you look at other departments and, they've asked for raises too, so I just wanted to make note of that.
Right. Well, Lee didn't ask for raises, just a 90-day performance raise, and he executed a plan that we had in place is why I'm asking for this.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Alderman Hobbs.
Aye.
Alderman Harris.
Aye.
Alderwoman Lynch.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Higdon.
Aye.
Alderman Brooks.
Aye.
Motion granted. Item number 11, authorize to give zoning administration Kristen Duggan $1 an hour raise for additional duties. She has really worked hard while we've been absent of a planning director, and it's within the budget. And it will be 25% even left of the budget.
$1 an hour.
Motion approved.
Second.
Roll call?
Alderman Harris.
Aye.
Alderwoman Lynch.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Higdon.
Aye.
Alderman Brooks.
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs.
Motion granted. Item 12, authorize the property of the city of Hernando, Mississippi being 1 Glock 17 sidearm to be sold to Roger Swatsini, a police officer retired from the city of Hernando, pursuant section 45-9-131 for the amount of $1. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Item 13, request amendment to the Madison Lakes PUD. They would like to have that tabled until June 15th. Do we have a motion?
Motion to motion to, table that,
Second.
To June 15th?
June 15th.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Item 14, adopt a resolution declaring that it's necessary for public good and certain special capital improvements for the city of Hernando. Describe the location, nature, and extent of the work of the said improvement, and to provide for payment costs of said improvement by assessments against the property benefit in accordance with the provisions of section 21-41-1 through 21-41-53 of the Mississippi Code of 1972 as amended. Man, is everybody familiar with this? Kenny, would you like to give us just overall briefing on what this is?
This is basically what was approved back in March of last year, or to move forward with it. This is all about it's concerning Hernando West, extension of the sewer line, to city's right away, and then they'll connect with them there to their development. This is what, I mean, we worked this out with their attorneys, and of course, we didn't figure it out. Mayor and I discussed this several times, the board's discussed it. This basically allows us to move forward, and pretty soon hereafter, send the city to move forward with letting the contractor do the construction. Cap loan has already been approved. The mayor's working on that. Mr. Dixon. Want me to say, Mayor? Thumbnail sketches.
Is there any questions from the board, from the audience? How quick, soon do you think we can bid it out, Mr. Joe?
Got the plans. It takes about 30 days to advertise it, so get started on bidding it out.
We didn't amend the agenda, but can we put that in a motion to go ahead and authorize to advertise it?
Well, no, you didn't. I mean, you didn't amend the agenda, so we ought to do that on the 15th.
Okay, is that okay with you, Mr. Brown?
Yes, sir, that's the way we do it, that's fine.
You'll have the prepared documents?
We can go ahead and begin stuff ready, yes, sir.
Right. All right. No questions? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
I had to make the resolution part of it, obviously, waive the reading to make the resolution the same part of it.
Amend my motion to that effect.
All right, we got a motion, got a second?
Mm-hmm.
Roll call?
Alderman Brooks.
Aye.
Alderman Hogg.
Aye.
Alderman Harris.
Aye.
Alderwoman Lynch.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Higdon.
Aye.
Motion granted. Item 15, authorize the mayor to sign a memorandum of agreement with Hernando West Development LLC regarding the special assessment. Are there any questions? From the audience? Do we have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
Second. Roll call?
Alderman Hogg.
Aye.
Alderman Harris.
Aye.
Alderwoman Lynch.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Higdon.
Aye.
Alderwoman Brooks.
Aye.
Motion granted. 16, authorize mayor to sign an escrow agreement with the Hernando West Development. Do we have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Alderman Harris.
Aye.
Alderwoman Lynch.
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
Aye.
Alderman Higdon.
Aye.
Alderwoman Brooks.
Aye.
Alderman Hogg.
Aye.
Motion granted. Great. Done. Is that it? We'll get sewer authorized bid at next meeting. 17, authorize the city attorney to prepare a sewer easement for execution by David Lassner and authorize the payment of $3,000 for a sewer easement from David Lassner once the sewer easement is fully executed. This is an emergency sewer easement that we needed. And Kenny's got he'll prepare the documents.
Yes, sir, and if I might say, on this one, it is an emergency situation, and just the cost itself of filing eminent domain would well exceed the cost of the easement, $3,000. I think this is in the best interest of the city.
Right. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. All righty, number 18, authorized to apply USDA U.S. Department of Transportation RAISE grant, rebuilding American infrastructure with sustainability and equity. It's for bike pedestrian improvements, Hernando Master Plan. This project will include 10 alternate transportation improvements in this Hernando and Coon Commerce Street. Correct me if I'm wrong, G, this is a $5 million grant, 1.25 million matching. Mr. Brown, if you would explain how we can manage this.
Okay. My name's Russ Bryan with Neil Schaefer. I previously assisted the city with the bike and ped plan, like the mayor mentioned. We've also been involved with the park and rec feasibility study that we completed at the end of 2020, both of which kind of feed into and connect up with a strong and depend on a strong bike and pedestrian network. Well, what I'm here to talk about tonight, obviously, is the RAISE grant. Up to this point, we've coordinated with GIA, developing the preliminary project, which was outlined in the exhibit that I handed out earlier, which consists of 5 miles of new multi-use paths and 1 mile of bike lane connections. We feel like it meets the funding criteria that's in the RAISE notice of funding, the NOFA. We also think that it meets the criteria by connecting people with basic goods and services. That's what a lot of the nodes and notations, point out on the exhibit. The schedule, the grant is due July 12th. We hope to have a draft application to you by June 30th, which is your agenda cutoff for the first meeting in July. And, the application process is fairly in-depth, requires a good bit of information to go into it to be competitive. So that's why we've got a contract to you to provide those grant writing services. Now, get back to the question the mayor asked, as far as you're in the Memphis urban area, which means the minimum you can request through this grant is $5 million, and that requires a 20% match, which is roughly $1.25 million. So I know there's a need to strategize on how to come up with that. We are going to request an official response on whether other grant funds can be used for the matching funds. I know you've got a pending land and water conservation grant. We're going to ask to see if that is eligible. We know that we're going to see if potentially TAP funds, after they run through the DOT, if those are potentially eligible. Another strategy is that we can bid each of these projects in phases, so that the city maybe can bid a project every year, so that 1.25 million maybe comes out of 3, 4, or 5 different fiscal years. So possibly your local match is $250 a year instead of just one big, 1.25 in one fiscal year. So there's options there. They do allow you to bid it in phases. The deadline, I believe, is 2029 to have the funds fully obligated. So there is a decent window of time to be able to strategize and develop local match.
Well, with all this money coming from the state, the federal government and all that, we're not 100% sure what we can do with it and all that, and this can be rejected, correct?
That's my understanding. It may be that, if you had a future application, it might be graded a little different if you had previously been awarded funds that you didn't use. That's the only thing. The only potential it could come is you may sort of get on a naughty list, if you will.
It's up to the board, but this is for the next administration. I believe it's worth a chance to let them manage it over 7 years, if awarded. If not, they can decline the award.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or potentially, maybe it's not even all or nothing. Maybe you bid out one or two projects, and then if you fall on hard times, then you say, well, we're not gonna be able to use the rest of these funds.
I mean, that's a lot of matching money, but I want the board to understand what our options are.
It's an opportunity to implement a project that I think seemed kind of far out there. And so I think it's an opportunity you should take to begin to implement some of the pathways and bike lane connections that we're developing.
Do we know when decisions can be made on all this money? Is there a deadline to
The
move
deadline
forward
to
with this?
submit the grant is July 12th.
July 12th.
July 12th. And like I said, we plan to have the draft application in front of you your July 6th, I think is your first meeting. And we'd have a few days to make changes if needed, and then submit before the deadline.
Any
What all?
questions?
What all can this, grant money be used for? Everything?
It's intended for infrastructure, but the funding criteria, it's pretty wide ranging. It includes terms like create good paying jobs, improve safety, apply transformative technology, explicitly address climate change and racial equity, address safety, environmental sustainability, quality of life, economic competitiveness, state of good repair, climate change, environmental justice are things they look for in the planning stages. So a bike and ped, improving your bike and ped network that connects key parts of the city to your commercial corridor that also includes basic needs like pharmacy, healthcare, your public library, or internet access. And I think all those things connecting with alternate forms of transportation for people who maybe cannot drive themselves there, but can walk or use a bicycle or a wheelchair, would provide a strong application.
So we can make infrastructure improvements, meaning road improvements with it?
Yes.
Is it stringent as far as the rules for the roads, or is it broad, or is it?
Those are the funding criteria, so it's very broad in the way it can fund. It's just a matter of, meeting those criteria
I got you.
if they're a road project.
Overpass.
I think that, it's my opinion, but I think that road projects, the stack of road projects are gonna be about waist high.
Say that again.
Maybe, I think that a lot of cities, a lot of municipalities are gonna
Oh.
apply for road projects.
I got you.
So it may be that, a ped and bike project would be a little bit unique and different and stand out. It is a competitive grant.
Any questions?
But just to confirm, we're not committing to this 1.25. We can refuse it if we need to.
It would require, probably a resolution saying that, explaining why you're not able to use the funds that have been awarded the city. And you'll get a letter and saying you've been awarded this amount with instructions to proceed, through the design process and bidding process. And it's a reimbursement grant, is our understanding. So much like the linear park or the TAP project, you'll pay a contract to pay at, and then you'll submit a request for 80% funding reimbursement on that pay app. Of the eligible expenses, which I think most of what you're going to do is going to be eligible.
Any questions from the audience?
I've got a question. Would donations right away count for the matching funds, fair market value donations?
I think yes, I think the process to document that with a federal grant is a little more strenuous, but I believe that it would probably require an appraisal, multiple appraisals possibly.
Any more questions? From the board? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we apply for the grant.
Second.
Roll call?
Alderman Miller,
Aye.
Alderman Higdon,
All right.
Alderman Brooks,
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs,
Aye.
Alderman Harris,
Aye.
Alderwoman Lynch.
Aye.
Motion granted. Thank you. 19, adopt a resolution of the City of Hernando, Mississippi, supporting the Rebuild American Infrastructure, Sustainability, and Equality grant for multi-use pathways and bike lanes. And you've looked over this, Kenny? Yeah, man. Do we have a motion or any questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion. We adopt it.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Item number 20, authorize to accept the lowest and best bid from Lehman Roberts for asphalt paving milling for Macabell Road and Cathy Street in the amount of $244,855. Any questions from Mr. Joe?
Joe, just for the record, will you tell them what part of Cathy Street that is, so they won't be coming to my house?
It's over here by Windy City, that little stretch right there.
So we're talking about from Commerce Street to Valley Street,
Valley Street.
that part of Cathy, not the Cathy between Hill Street and Oak Grove Road, for the record. Thank you.
That's a good one.
And
That road's
Macabell
already real
Park
nice.
is, there from Hernando Hill School. Picks up where one of the new entrance to Hernando Hill subdivision comes in there south of the school and carries it on up through that bad section of Macabell Road.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Item 21, authorize mayor to sign a contract with Energy to put security lights at Kirkendall Park. It should be for 8 lights. Option 2, if you look at your packet and your pictures, we got 2 choices if we want to do this. And we got 2 prices. We looked at the Entergy bills for Kirkendall Field in the last 6 months. They've averaged, I think, about $439 a month. And that's only with 1 light system working down there. And we got 3 poles. 1 pole doesn't even have electricity hooked to it. We got 2 working poles and only 1 pole works. So it's not designed to play sports on, the lighting. It's just, it'd be every night for security. Right now, people are able to go down there on their own, turn the lights on, and it stays on for 2 hours, and that's what our bill's been running a month. With Energy here, I think we have the opportunity to, they'll have all the maintenance. Something happens, we call them, they fix it.
What would be the monthly cost?
Katie gave us that revision.
Like a 460. Isn't that it? 460?
The traditional lights would be $429, the Acorn light is $461.
Are the Acorn lights, will they produce enough light there? I know, I'm looking at the lumens and, you know, they look to be the same, but are they really?
Well, I mean, it's about like a 150 watt light bulb is what 84 100 is. Be like these we have out front of City Hall and around the square. I mean, we're just lighting it up enough, not to really play sports, but just to
Well, you
People
ever
can
see-
run around the track and.
early
and
morning,
see.
late evenings, and it's every night. It's not just when they turn them on.
Right. It's solar, I guess. Is that how it will turn on and off, solar?
You know, it'd be about the
timer.
The sun.
Okay, that is solar.
That's
You
the dog.
got me.
No, it's not run on solar, it's run on
Night and
electricity.
day.
Well, I got that, but I
Yeah.
mean, as
What's
far
it
as
called?
turning it on and off,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's light activated.
The
Or
photo
dark.
cell.
Thank
photo
you,
cell.
thank you. That's,
Photo
I didn't know
cell.
that name, but that's what I was looking for, thank you.
Man, I drew a blank.
What the lights cost that we just put in, installed down there on McInville past Walmart?
Commerce.
Oh,
I
they
mean, commerce.
weren't very much at all because Energy put the poles up to backfeed the electricity, so all we had to do is pay for the light. We didn't have to pay for any poles. They're really reasonable if you don't have to buy the poles or rent them.
So what type, I'm saying again, what types of lights are those on the pole?
On those,
What types of lights are on the poles as compared to what we actually put
At
in
Kirkendall.
Kirkendall?
ones, I think those on Commerce are the Cobra headlights.
Did we get an option on something similar to that would produce enough light to do other things that we need to do over there at night? Because we're gonna have people over there both ways. We have people there at night with soccer. We're gonna have people over there at night walking, so we're gonna spend this much money just for people to walk. What about the one that's gonna be over there at night doing sports activity, even though they're doing it on their own?
Well,
That's
I
my
mean,
question.
our goal wasn't really to light it up for sports activities. That's where we need to think about redoing the big lights where people play at night.
Well, that's my point now. If we're gonna do a lighting plan, shouldn't it be inclusive of getting everything done now that's gonna take us on down the road? That's my point.
We can. I mean,
That's my point, because what's gonna be the rush of rushing doing this tonight when we can look at an overall lighting plan for the park to take care of all the needs of the park? We're gonna have more than walkers, that's all I'm saying.
right, I mean, there's no rush.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, there's no rush.
I'm just asking a question. I mean, I'm just.
No rush at all.
Well, they're certainly doing a lot of work over there already.
Yeah.
We're getting all those.
It was just
trees
part
taken
of
down,
the-
those trees taken down.
No,
So I understand where you're coming
I
from.
agree with that part. I'm not, still, the lighting have nothing to do with those improvements. That's what I'm saying now. A total lighting plan for the whole complex.
Correct. Gee, how much did we pay for the lights in the soccer field?
What, 200,000 or something like that?
I would say it'd be close to what we paid the soccer fields, $200,000.
And I know this board won't handle it, but there again, I think an overall plan, you have an overall plan, then you can phase it in, just like you were talking about phasing it. We just got through doing this other project.
Right.
Talking about doing phases. If you have an overall plan, then you will know what you're looking at down the road in order to phase those lightings in. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even this grant may work for this, might it, Russ?
Well,
Possibly.
I don't know, I'm just saying, I'm not even looking at that from that standpoint, just an overall lighting plan for the complex.
there's no sports or anything down there now, it's just people down there walking in the evening at night.
Correct. Some people play out there in the daytime.
The tennis courts are lighting up, and there's no organized sport. So what's the difference in this being lighting up, even though it's not organized?
You're absolutely right. I mean,
I'm just asking
Haifa's looking at moving there again. I'm sure they'd like to play at night. I'm not sure, but yeah. I mean, we need to explore other activities.
That's all I was saying.
Other lighting options.
That's all I would ask, Mayor, and, we'll look at, the total lighting plan for it, and then the incoming board can make their decision on,
Absolutely.
what they want to do.
We won't have a motion on that, to look at a lighting plan, or can we just move on?
Table it or?
Table it?
Motion?
Table it to the next.
I make a motion that we table that item, until we have time to research it more, as Alderman Muller's requested.
All right. Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted.
Who's gonna be researching it?
I mean, I think we can ask Mr. Joe, who did the soccer fields. Didn't you do that?
I can do the soccer field. But we can work with energy on it and see what comes. Ideas we've got,
Yeah.
the whole plan.
Who pulled this information together?
Energy. Energy.
Well, can't we just call them and ask them to?
I don't think they put up sports lights.
You get a quote about sports.
Do what?
You get a quote about sports. No, must go with some other lighting company, get a quote. What it costs to light the place up.
All right. Did we vote on that?
Yep, for further study.
We did vote on it. didn't we? All right, number 22, approve utility adjustment docket.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
excuse me. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. Item 23, authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Neil Schaefer for professional services for the MS4 Stormwater Advisory Services. Neil Schaefer is contracted by all the cities and the counties. This is something our previous planning director was working on, and this is for Neil Schaefer to give us guidance on how to structure it, model it, and be in compliance. Any questions?
Motion.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion granted. All right, 24, discussion of the fireworks show. This was something we were unable to do last year due to COVID. I'm not gonna say we were unable, but we elected not to because of the governor's restricted guidelines. And this is something, if the board would like to do, we can make it happen. It had to be July 1st. They're booked for other shows. The 4th is on a Sunday. It'll be a long weekend for a lot of people. And if this is something we want to do, I mean, we got the contract here, but Kenny would have to work on a proposal. Is that correct, Kenny, or agreement?
Well, We're working on it there were some more changes that they need to make. And then, there's the issue of the agreement that's in place now for the concessions. Because the gentleman or the company that's exploring or asking to do this, I know you've been speaking with Mayor Argo. They want to do the concessions, but through some work this afternoon, I think we've got all those issues resolved. We just got to get them set down.
Yeah, that's all I mean, if the board's, Kenny's got everything in place.
Well, don't yet.
No, I mean, it will be in place for the next meeting, but what we need tonight is the authority to move forward with this plan.
You said that would be on Thursday, July the 1st?
Correct.
Who is Argo?
He did it 2 years ago, is that right?
Was that something that we had to bid out, or did we? Because in the past, I thought we had bid.
We didn't have to.
We didn't have to.
Is this the same one we bid on? We did bid this one out, or we didn't?
In years
We
past,
did
we
do this
did.
one.
That's the one, you know, we had so much trouble with getting it done.
Yeah, there was some
Quotes.
controversy.
We chose not to bid it out this time, or don't have time?
Timing's of the essence on this one.
Yeah.
How does this cost compare to the 2 years ago?
I think it's a little bit less because we didn't budget for it. Do you remember what it was 2 years ago, Kenny?
I know one of them was like $14,000.
Yeah,
There you go. That's why I was thinking 14.
15,000.
This, we only got 12 in the budget this year.
Audience got anything?
Any questions from the audience? Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Alderman Higdon,
Aye.
Alderman Brooks,
Aye.
Alderman Hobbs,
Aye.
Alderman Harris,
Aye.
Alderwoman Lynch,
Aye.
Alderman Miller.
All right. Item number 25, Lee, do you have, will you put it up here? He's just going to tell us right quick, show you what we've done with the Public Works Department with water and sewer and storm drains. Just give you a real quick application. Prior to the GPS mapping and equipment, we were running around looking for maps, having to call Joe Frank in the middle of the night, weekends, to know where water lines were. This past budget, we were able to secure the equipment, and they have made a lot of headway. We scanned the maps, transparency, laid them over on Google Earth. All the lines aren't verified yet, but we're getting in a good position.
All right, so all of my supervisors, I plan to have an iPad. This is just a GIS mapping service that Mr. Scott Trapolino has put together. Zoom in on it. You can see where our water lines are outlined. All of these little circles are water meters. Gets kind of hectic unless you really zoom in on it. So we've got, you can see we have our water mains identified as close as we can to size. We've got our fire plugs on there. We also have water valves, water meters, and also, you know, when we have a problem in the city, we go out, we dig it up, then we field verify what that is. We take the GPS out there, we GPS each line, whether it be a 2 or 4 foot section, whatever we have to dig up. So then Scott Trapolino with Canopy Spatial takes that information that we provide him and straightens out the lines basically on the mapping software, so we can, you know, find out where they are a little closer. And also if we have another snow like we did this year, we can know within 2 centimeters of where our meters are in the city. So that'll be a big bonus. So far, we've been doing it about 3 months, on and off between meter readings and stuff like that. So far, we've collected 2,172 water meters, 576 sewer manholes, 80 water control valves, which brings the total of 2,828 total points collected. The equipment that we're using is made by Trimble. They're some of the best in the business. We've got survey grade accuracy equipment, so we can get within, like I said, 2 centimeter accuracy, which is, less than an inch. So it's really, really beneficial for us. Also down the road, when we, this will be a year or so down the road, maybe 2 years, when we really get all this fine tuned in the long run, we can relay all this information and give all this information to Mississippi 811. We currently pay about $2 a locate. And we can set a parameter with, if it's not within 3 foot, 8 foot, 10 foot of our utility lines, they won't even call in a locate for us. So they'll mark that clear for us in advance, and it'll save us money and time. So we can devote other stuff to inspections or whatever else is pressing at the time.
Can you pull the sewer one up? Right?
Yeah, yes, sir. This is all our sewer information here.
Even our water clerks up front would be able to give information to people where water lines
Absolutely.
are.
It shows direction of flow, which is really handy for us in the field. Saves us a lot of time at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning when we've got guys out there. All the little circles that you see on there are sewer manholes. Some have been field verified, some have not. That's why they're color coordinated like that. Then you got the red lines. That'll be pressure sewer mains, which have pressure on them that come from lift stations and stuff like that. And also the lift stations are on here, so we can see where they are at night or during the day when the guys are working. So it's really beneficial for us, and it's going to take the city to the next level.
Thank you for all your hard work on this.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, good job.
Scott Trapolino has been really helpful with me also. He's really great. So
Another thing that they've done, it's been pretty valuable to us, is we have a lot of infiltration of the sewer, and it's metered by the time it gets to the crew. They put a rain gauge at some of their lift stations. So now, when they get like a 3-inch rain, they can actually see how long the motors ran. So now we can kind of pinpoint which lines have got infiltration because of the rains we got.
absolutely. Infiltration's huge.
Yeah.
We can't charge for that, but the crew does, so we got to eat it. It's a big deal, a lot bigger deal than you would think. So,
Any questions?
Good job.
thank you.
Appreciate it. It's going to be quite valuable to all this.
I just out of curiosity,
Yes, sir.
what areas are we working in?
We're working in every part of the city. We had our original maps, our water and sewer maps. Scott pulled all that information into the GPS software here, and then we're going everywhere. GPS and water meters, water valves, anything in the neighborhoods and streets that we can see physically, we're field verifying those.
Because I do know that, and I think you already know that in the older part of the city right now, it won't be too long because we're going to have to change. You're talking about a major undertaking.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be happening soon. And you talking about some millions of dollars that's getting ready to happen because of, it's not because of neglect or anything like that, just because of age.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Well, the good thing about having these mapped is we can map them as abandoned as we put the new ones in.
Absolutely. Or if we have to dig it up and work on it, we can field verify, like I said, to 2 centimeter accuracy where it's located. So it'll be huge. But yes, you are correct, Mr. Miller. It's going to be a astronomical expense eventually.
And doesn't mean the incoming administration and board and thing that you will provide them with with a phasing plan, because we know now, because of the hours that we are spending now, at night, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, that we need a phasing plan on going and try to go on and repair and replace these lines before it get to that breaking point that we already know is there.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item 26, that'd be discussion of police salaries.
Yeah. As of right now, we don't have any data in front of us, but I think the police chief and assistant police chief, they have requested an evaluation on their jobs and their performance with an increase. And we really don't have any of that data right now. But, I mean, Scott, you're welcome to come up here, or we can wait till the next meeting and table it and get some more information on this. But I'd like to see the things y'all have done in the last 4 years. I don't think either one of you has ever had a performance increase, to my knowledge, in the last 4 years, and Dwayne as well. What I'd like to see is an evaluation of all three of y'all. That's the police chief, assistant, and Dwayne.
Okay.
And bring back to the board at the next meeting a recommendation.
We can do that.
Anybody want to add anything to that, or?
No, just that it's probably long overdue.
We need a comparison of the adjacent cities as well. I think it was the police chief's salaries, assistant police, fire chief, assistant fire chief. These leadership positions, we want to try to be in the ballpark with them so we can keep our employees. And I'd like to see, a comparison chart as well, so we'll know what we're looking at and if an increase is justified or not.
All right. I guess we're gonna act pretty quick. Any questions?
Ready to adjourn?
I ain't.
Move adjourn.
Second?
Do we need to table that? Do we need to make a?
It wasn't a
It
motion,
was
it was
a
just a
discussion.
discussion.
Okay.
But the mayor's gonna bring us something to the next meeting, correct? Yes, sir.
You got a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. It's big.
Get it back to her again, get it back to her.
We in a daze.
Well,